Well, here today by Peter, Tommy, and Taylor John. It is Jimmy. And here today, Greg Dallas, another member of Higgles Scott and excellent recruiting class prior to the 2020 season. He invited ECU from Ottawa Academy Charter. He also highly applauded. As the junior 2022 Fellas played 51 games for the Academy, 45 starts. Across his career with Blue and Gold, Fellas lost 2 home runs, Gold W 2022, and striking 7 bases on the half. This season, away to Mississippi Valley, Fellas would move through against the Delta Devils. In the field, we fought 13 went out, 14 and 6 in his career. Being joined here today by Frank and North Douglas, Margarita Martinez, and Alexander Semtulo. Ladies and gentlemen, the our final leader today is certainly one of the first time last year at ECU under head coach Ron Hernandez. Spring up coordinator rises to the cast freshman prior to the move to short campaign. It is time to ECU. Walt Olson has played 146 games for Hernandez, including starts at 142. Yeah, the record usually acting and previously like that, 31 RBIs and a home run lead. Washington did one career. All the carries at 271 batting average go along with 966 fielding percentage and 25 stolen bases. We look 13 steals this season. He has also registered 127 hits, scored 23 runs, and produced 20 doubles for a career slugging percentage of 328. Going here today by Greg Curry, Louis and Lydia Olson, as well as father and stepmother Michael and Amy Olson. Ladies and gentlemen, Hill County Crime, all one last picture together, ladies and gentlemen. I want another round of applause for our seniors and the leaders. Yeah, thank you. Eric John, Nolan, thank you. John, you're really going. You will always be well.
It's time for Bethune-Cookman Wildcat Baseball on the CatEye Radio Network.
It's a full count delivery to Sergio Rivera. Here's the pitch. Ground ball towards third, through the gap and in there for a base hit. Coming home is Figueroa. He'll walk in to score.
The Diamond Cats are ready to make their move as they prepare for the SWAC Baseball Tournament.
Runner goes down to third. Here's the throw. Safe as Figueroa steals a base.
It's senior day at the Jack as the Wildcats take on the Alabama State Hornets. It's time now to go to downtown Daytona Beach and Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Here's the voice of the Wildcats, Mike Triello, on the CatEye Radio Network.
Well, live from Jackie Robinson Ballpark in beautiful downtown Daytona Beach, Florida, it's time for the regular season finale for Bethune-Cookman University Baseball here on the CatEye Network and 1380 WELE Radio. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company. Bryce Wadowski joins me from the press box here at the Jack. Bryce, it's been a tough series to close this week for the Wildcats, dropping the first two to the Alabama State Hornets. And for those radio listeners who haven't been with us the last 2 days, what are the stakes here today? Because there are still a lot of them.
Well, I'll say this, Mike. The good news for us here in the booth today is that there's something for us to play for downstairs. There's a lot on the line. The bad news for those of us downstairs, i.e. the players, Coach Hernandez, is there's something to play for today. And you come through after all the emotions of senior day, whatever that may entail, with a ton on the line, because this Wildcats team currently holds on to that number 2 seed in the SWAC, which means that you avoid the number 1 seed and defending champion Florida A&M Rattlers in the bracket in Atlanta for the SWAC tournament next week, which is a very big thing, a very real goal for this team. However, if you drop today's contest to Alabama State, they jump you for that 2 spot. You're now in the 3 seed, which means you get a little tougher opponent out of the gate next week in Atlanta. And again, you're going to have to beat Florida A&M, maybe in your potentially second game, heading on your way to that SWAC title run. So there's a ton on the line. All we needed was 1 out of 3 this weekend. You haven't done it, but there's a really quick way you can put all of that behind you, and that's with the defending preseason SWAC pitcher of the year on the mound, Daniel Gaviria.
The lineup for Bethune-Cookman looks like this. Gaviria on the mound. It'll be Daniel Figueroa in center, Garrett Chun in left, Jason Hodges in right, Jose Gonzalez at designated hitter, first baseman Manny Sufrain, catcher Jorge Rodriguez, Ramses Cordova at short, Frankie Feblis at third, Colton Olison behind the plate. Of course, the senior Daniel Gaviria on the mound. For the Alabama State Hornets, Randy Flores leads off in his center. Ali LaPred is in right. Juan Cruz, the dynamite freshman, at first. The designated hitter is Devin Chandler. Shortstop Kyler McIntosh. Third base Christian Lopez. Second base Quentin Jenkins. Catcher Dylan Escobar, and left field Isaiah Landry. Both of these teams, Bryce, even though the Hornets have taken the first 2 games from this series, have had some injury issues this weekend. Tanner Bocabello, the Friday night starter for Bethune-Cookman, led off this series, pitched a good couple of innings in the first game, but then took a comebacker right off the inside of his leg. He was taken to the hospital, thankfully tested negative for any breaks, but he's been out. And for Alabama State, their starting catcher yesterday, Jamal George, looked like he sustained a bit of a knee injury trying to run the bases, trying to go from first to second on a stolen base. He is out, replaced by the freshman Dylan Escobar.
Fortunate for both that it seems that our early indications are the injuries aren't too bad. You know, Bocabello sustained what we learned is a bruise, so could be back in short order. Jamal George did give it a go behind the plate for an inning or so you'd like to think if it was something much worse in that knee area that he probably wouldn't play through that. But a lot on the line here. A lot has gone down through a tough couple of games this weekend, but you can put it all away with a win today.
We get ready for the national anthem here at the Jack. Once again, you are listening to Bethune-Cookman University Baseball on the CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. Michael Travilla, Bryce Wojnowski in the booth. Happy to have your company. We are just about to get started, and it starts with the senior making his final appearance of the Jack in his college career, Daniel Gaviria. He is 5-3 on the season with a 4.81 ERA, 12 appearances, all starts with one complete game in 67 and a third innings pitched. He's given up 45 runs on 82 hits, 36 earned, striking out 47 and walking 15, opponent batting average of 293. And we have to stress that opponent batting average because everybody except one on this Alabama State roster is batting over 300, and the one that isn't is the freshman catcher that's making a spot start and replace for the injured starter.
Something we've talked about all year long is perhaps the most important stat, maybe at any level of baseball, but one of the things that stuck out most in the SWAC and heading into the tournament is strikeout to walk ratio. And that's one of the things that Daniel Gaviria has done very well this year. Just 15 walks for him on the season to 47 strikeouts. He's not a big strikeout guy, so he does have to work to contact. In the past, you see with that batting average against, it's come back to bite him a little bit. We've gone back and forth throughout the season as to what the issue of that might be. There's been questions. His velocity is a little bit up this year than what he's used to by a couple of miles per hour. So it's kind of affected the way that his delivery has worked throughout the course of the season, his approach at the plate, and guys have overall just been able to barrel it up a little better. But if he can pound the zone, if he can pick his spots very well, he's got a defense behind him that has shown that they have the ability to pick up the guy on the mound and do their job and work through a clean handful of innings and deep into this game.
Gaviria, the preseason SWAC pitcher of the year and first team, has not really had the season to live up to those lofty expectations. Obviously been outshined by his teammate Tanner Bocabello, but he's still top 10 in the conference in ERA. Randy Flores digs in for Alabama State, the left-hand hitter against the lefty Gaviria, and it's a ball outside on a fastball to begin the game. Damian Gatling is the home plate umpire, Patrick Graham at first, and Dustin Ragsdale is at third, your officiating crew for this afternoon. The second pitch is lifted into center field. Daniel Figueroa doesn't really even have to move to make the first out.
Well, it seems that I'm going to start my stint at the color spot the same way that I have the last 2 days, is hard contact right out of the gate. And of course, it could very much be a one-off, but in the past 2 games, it's been a very quick indicator of what we can expect from the night of the guy on the mound. So you want to try to minimize that, work to more ground balls.
Here's Ali LaPred, who was in the batter's box and hit that comebacker that knocked out Tanner Bocabello on Thursday. He's a senior batting .333 for pitch, a fastball strike. 71 runs on 61 hits, 13 doubles, a team-high 13 homers and 39 RBIs. He did hit a home run on Thursday in Game 1 of this series, as there's inside corner strike 2. Towering shot that just snuck inside the left field corner. Gaviria quickly into his motion, and he misses outside 1-2. Wildcats today, maroon hats. The cream-colored off-white jerseys with the interlocking BC on the chest. Numbers in maroon trimmed in gold. Breaking ball, strike 3 called. 12-6 curve outside corner, and down goes LaPred.
When Gaviria can work a nice AB like that, work off of deception, he can be very, very effective on the mound. Can't underestimate even how important a scoreless first is, because I think whoever scores first in this game has a really good chance to take it.
We have 2 outs now in the first. Here's Juan Cruz, watches a fastball strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Cruz second in the conference in batting average at .390, but that's actually come down since the start of the series. Came in to the weekend batting .396, and he fouls one off to the right-hand side, and it's 0-2. Cruz, just a freshman from the Orlando area, former Apopka Blue Darter. And he also hit a home run on Thursday, a deep shot over the score clock in left center field. And he grounds one to the right side. That'll get past the glove of Soufrain and through for a base hit. So something we've been harping on all year, Bryce, 2-out hits and being unable to get off the field with 2 outs on defense.
It's been frustrating, as it would be for any team. For Daniel Gaviria, doesn't necessarily see a ton of change to his pace when he's working with guys on base, but for a lot of these Wildcats, their approach is definitely different when there's guys on the paths. We'll see what it looks like here.
Stepping in now, the righty Devin Chandler. First pitch to him is a fastball strike. Chandler is making his first appearance of the weekend, batting .357, the sophomore. First time we haven't seen Jack Hay in the designated hitter spot for Alabama State. He swings and misses at a ball in the dirt, and it's 0-2. Chandler, in 70 at-bats, has 16 runs on 25 hits, 6 doubles, 3 homers, 19 RBIs. He's got Cruz at first after a single with 2 down. They'll go back over to check on Cruz. And this is the first time the Wildcats have had a lefty starter on the mound this weekend, and how does that change the dynamic for the runners over at first? Because we've seen the Hornets be very steal happy this weekend. Here's the 0-2. Ground ball up the middle, another base hit. And there's going to be runners on first and second with 2 outs. Chandler collects his first hit of the series.
And very unsurprisingly for Alabama State, being very aggressive with the bat, a lot of big swings early, resulted in a couple of 2-out base hits here. They're going to continue to put that pressure on all game long. It's up to Gaviria to set up maybe some of the high fastball or some of his other put-away pitches so that they can't be put in play.
Here's the batter that maybe had the worst weekend at the plate for Alabama State, and that's saying a lot. Kyler McIntosh went 0 for 5 on Thursday, had 1 hit last night, but also 2 sacrifice bunts. He's only reached base 1 time in this series. He grounds one towards the shortstop side, fielded by the third baseman, Frankie Feblis. The senior will complete the play, throwing over to first for out number 3. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left. And we go to the bottom of the first. Alabama State, nothing. Wildcats coming to bat. This is Bethune-Cookman University Baseball on the CatEye Network and 1380 WELE. Back at the Jack with Bethune-Cookman Baseball. We go to the bottom of the first. No score. Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and Alabama State Hornets. Wildcats looking for their first win of the series after dropping the first 2 games, but a win today would get them the number 2 seed in the SWAC tournament coming out of the East next week. A loss would drop them to number 3. Daniel Figueroa, the center fielder, leads off against the Alabama State starter, the right-handed pitcher, Will Smith. Smith, a junior with a .827 ERA, making his first start of the season. He's 2-1 with 20 innings pitched. He's given out 26 runs on 28 hits, 19 earned, striking out 31 and walking 15 with an opponent batting average of .315. Figueroa, the right-hand hitting center fielder, is batting .308, and the first pitch to him is a strike inside corner with the fastball. Rest of Figueroa's numbers: 44 hits, 37 runs, 5 doubles, a triple, and 16 RBI. He's been the primary leadoff man for the last month or so on this Wildcat team. And he hits one in the air to right field. Moving over is Ali LaPret. He'll make the catch for out number 1.
For the Wildcats, the offensive message, I think, is pretty clear. You want to avoid the 1-2-3 inning because it's really been an issue throughout this series, through a lot of this year. Try to prioritize putting together productive ABs, whether that's hard contact, put the defense in a position to make a play, but overall putting somebody on base. Work a walk, take a hit, whatever you need to do, but put that pressure on.
Garrett Chun bats now, one of the seniors, the 6 seniors that we honored here today before the game. Fouls the first pitch off to the left. Chun batting .262, 40 runs on 56 hits, 7 doubles, 3 triples, and 38 RBI. That's second on the team, only to Jose Gonzalez. The 0-1. Ground ball towards second. Jenkins makes the play, and there's 2 away.
Gotta be careful, too. As much as we've seen Alabama State free swing it throughout the series and seen it work to their favor, you don't necessarily need to fall into that same hole. You can stay back and be patient. I think that's a lot closer to the type of game that hitting coach Derek Cartaya wants this Wildcats team to play. But we'll see if that approach stays the same throughout the remainder of this game.
Here's one of the seniors that doesn't normally feature in the starting lineup, Jason Hodges, playing right field today in place of Sergio Rivera. The first pitch is inside, ball 1, and the ball actually takes the catcher's mitt off and flings it behind him towards the backstop. Don't see that very often.
It took the glove with him.
We saw it last night, Bryce, where the Wildcats let Jafet Martinez, who on paper had some pretty elevated numbers on the mound, as there's a slider strike, 1-1, kind of cruise through this Wildcat order, hand off to one of their better relievers, and just see off the Cats 7-2 last night. The 1-1 to Hodges, fouled away 1-2.
And that's why the avoiding of the 1-2-3 is so important. I mean, this is a guy with only 21 innings under his belt on the mound, not a guy who's known for necessarily going deep, hasn't featured a ton in that 8 ERA. So if you're going to get to him, if you're going to get to the bullpen, if you're going to make him work and the pitchers behind him work, you've got to work the pitch count. You can't result in these 2-3 pitch ABs.
Smith, the junior from Allen, Texas, will come set and deliver the 1-2. Strike 3 called outside corner. Hodges watches it go, and the Wildcats go 1-2-3. Nothing for the Cats in the first. We go to the second. No score here at the Jack between the Hornets of Alabama State and the Wildcats on CatEye Network Radio. First pitch of the top of the second is a ball to Christian Lopez, the third baseman for Alabama State. No score. Daniel Gaviria comes set and fires in inside. Gaviria's 2-0 is a soft grounder towards third. Charging with the glove is Febles, and he is right on time to get Lopez by half a step. What a play.
You know, a lot of times on a senior day, you picture some guys getting the start that maybe aren't good enough to necessarily qualify for day-to-day starts, but defensively, there is no drop-off in this Wildcats team anywhere on the field. Between Jason Hodges and Frankie Febles, both of these guys come to play on the defensive side of the ball.
Breaking ball strike outside corner to Quentin Jenkins. Jenkins, the freshman, batting .316. 17 runs on 42 hits. He grounds it to third again. Again, Febles charges. And again, he makes the play. 3 straight putouts for the senior third baseman.
And Frankie has played just about everywhere on this baseball diamond in his time here with the Wildcats. Started out playing that right field spot earlier a couple years ago in his career, but he's just so athletic, such great defensive instincts. He can make a play anywhere.
Here is Dylan Escobar, the freshman backup catcher, batting just .190 for this Alabama State squad. Swings and misses the first pitch. Gaviria is already into his motion. That one's grounded up the middle for a base hit. And once again, 2 outs, 2 quick outs, and a base hit up the middle.
And one thing that the Wildcats can learn and take away from the way Alabama State has approached things at the plate is just put the ball in play and make the defense work. So many of these Wildcat outs in these 1, 2, 3 innings we've seen over the last 2 days have been strikeouts, weak pop-ups, easy plays. Even right there, if the play is close, it's still a hard grab and a tougher throw to make.
That was Dylan Escobar's first AB of the series. He's on first. First pitch, a pop-up behind the plate by Isaiah Landry, moving over towards the fence, and the ball hits the top of the roof. It'll just be strike number 1. Even though he did come in for the injured George last night, Escobar, he did not get a chance to hit. So his first AB of the series is a single. The batter is the 9-hole hitter Isaiah Landry with 2 outs and a runner on first. Count 0-1. The pitch from Gaviria is a breaking ball outside. 1-1. Landry, the freshman, batting .339, 40 runs on 59 hits, 10 doubles, 5 triples, 2 homers, and 28 RBI. And he has been a force at the bottom of this Hornets lineup all week as he fouls another one off.
We saw the strike, or I guess in that instance, it was a ball called on the outside half of the plate right there. We saw a little bit of inconsistency there last night from the officiating crew, which of course led to head coach Jonathan Hernandez getting tossed. We'll see what it looks like here today.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him with the high cheese outside corner. Gaviria works out of a 2-out single. And once again, nothing on the board for the Hornets. We go to the bottom of the second. No score here at the Jack on CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. To the bottom of the second we go, no score here at the Jack, Wildcats, and Hornets final game of the regular season. Jose Gonzalez stands in to lead us off after the Wildcats went 1-2-3 in the first, facing the pitcher Will Smith. Gonzalez, the best bat the Wildcats have, the senior batting .356. And the first pitch to him, he turns on it and laces it up the middle underneath the glove of the shortstop McIntosh for a base hit.
And that's exactly what I talk about when I say just put the ball in play and force the defense to make the play. Very easily you could put one through the hole or something else, but even if that results in a ground out, at the very least you're putting that pressure on pitch to pitch, and eventually they will be rewarded in maybe some errors or maybe some balls like that that just slide under that glove.
Here's Manny Soufrain now, the power in the lineup. The junior batting .295 leads the team in homers with 5. First pitch to him, low and inside. Ball gets away from the catcher Escobar temporarily. Gonzalez stays on first. We were talking last night, Bryce, about how he also has 2 triples on the year, Manny Soufrain.
Yeah, loves that right field corner. About the only spot in this ballpark that a guy with a frame like his can leg out a triple.
1-0, tip to the backstop, 1-1. Soufrain swinging for the fences here. As are, I think, most of the Wildcats coming into this game. They know the importance of this 54th and final game of the regular season.
Can't let it lead to trying to do too much at the plate. You don't want to get into those big uppercut swings that are going to result in those pop-ups or those fly balls right at outfielders. Just take what the opponent gives you and lay some singles if you need to.
Soufrain also on the year 34 RBI. That's third on the team behind Chun and Gonzalez. For a long time, Gonzalez and Chun traded that lead back and forth. Here's the 1-1 from Smith. Fouled away again, and it's 1-2. But Jose Gonzalez has really kind of taken the lead in that mantra down the stretch. He's now got a 46-38 lead in RBI over Garrett.
Soufrain just a guy that gets on base. 509 OBP, taking 18 hit by pitches, so by any means necessary, he's going to get you some bags.
Right now he's behind on the count 1-2 to the righty Smith, who deals outside 2-2. Will from Allen, Texas, but as no stranger to the Sunshine State, played a year of JUCO at Eastern State College of Florida. .367 ERA at that level. Swing and a miss, and he got Soufrain to go down of a breaking ball that tailed away from the left hand of the opposite batter's box. Second strikeout for Smith.
And it's rare that you see Manny Soufrain go down with a swing like that, which is to credit to the really excellent pitch. Soufrain sees a lot of stuff in that outside batter's box, but that one started a little bit in on him and just snuck away from the bat.
Here's the catcher, Jorge Rodriguez, getting his first start of the weekend after he sat behind Irvin Escobar the last 2 days. Rodriguez, a junior, batting .292. First pitch swinging, grounder to short, could be 2, but it's bobbled by McIntosh. He goes to first to get the out. That's his only play as he moves Gonzalez over to second. Now there's 2 out.
And there we go. Is another hard ground ball. Does result in an out, but you're putting the pressure on the defense. And there's a lot on the line now for Alabama State, just as much as there is for Bethune-Cookman. So there is pressure on both sides. And when you're challenged that time, there's opportunities for errors.
Into the box with 2 down is Ramses Cordova. Lowest batting average of any of the regular BCU starters, just .204. 22 runs on 28 hits, 2 doubles, 3 homers, and 20 RBI. So he's got some serious pop in the bat if he can find it. And he blasts one out towards left center field. That one's tailing back toward the track. Flores reaches up and on the move over his shoulder makes a nice running catch to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the third, still scoreless here on the CatEye Network. Back to the top of the order as we start the third inning of play for Alabama State. First pitch, a ball upstairs to the center fielder, Randy Flores. Flew out to center his first time up. And then he grounds one towards the first base side. It'll stay fair and hop over the first base bag. Manny Suframe will take it himself for out number one. Well, I had a Randy Flores statistic, and he's already gone. So we'll move on.
Not a lot of hustle for him either. Saw that one bounce down the line, kind of assumed it would hook foul, stood there in the box, had no chance to run it out. Not that he probably would have anyway, but
something that is important to note, it is very hot today, 90 plus degrees in this afternoon start. A bunt straight back to the mound. Gaviria fields and throws out Ali LaPred, and it's quickly out number two, so I better get to my point. The wind is whipping left to right almost as fast as any wind we've seen here at the Jack this season. I mean, the Florida A&M series, it was maybe rolling a little bit harder back a couple of months ago, but it is very tough to hit a ball out of here today with the wind blowing in like it is. The batter is Juan Cruz. He swings and misses for strike one.
that's one of the big differences we talked about over the break that we'll see in Atlanta is you don't quite see that sea breeze the same way you do here.
Cruz pops it sky high foul first base side. That'll make the seats, and it's 0-2. A chance for a really quick inning for Daniel Gaviria here, but he's given up a 2-out single in both of the first two innings, and he rocks and fires outside 1-2.
Well, this is the most in command we've seen from a Wildcat starter this weekend thus far.
1-2. Breaking ball doesn't catch the outside corner. Rodriguez behind the plate stood up like he wanted to throw it around the horn, but no pump of the fist from Damian Gatling, so we'll see a 2-2 now to Juan Cruz. 2-2. Check, swing and a miss! Off the glove and in to the glove of Rodriguez. That's a quick one for Daniel Gaviria. Just 8 pitches, and he sets him down 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the third. No score here on CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. Frankie Feblis, the third baseman who's been excellent defensively to start off this game, will lead us off in the bottom of the third. Still scoreless here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark between Alabama State and Bethune-Cookman. Last regular season game of the year on the baseball diamond for the Wildcats. First pitch of breaking ball strike to Feblis. Into the lineup today by virtue of him being a senior. All 6 seniors getting the start today. Feblis batting 185, but only 27 at-bats on the season. And he watches one outside, 1-1.
Frankie's a guy who did appear in 51 games back in 2022 in his first year with the program. Had a couple of home runs. He's got some pop. He's just super athletic, a very swag player in that respect.
1-1 count from Will Smith. Breaking ball, catches the zone. Now, he's got a really late breaking slider, Smith, that almost fools you to think it's a changeup that's maybe going to run in on the hands and then just slides into the zone on that inside corner. As he sets up ahead 1-2, glove up near his neck. He winds and fires inside, ball 2.
He's gone to that slider primarily away to lefties, and it's worked fairly well. Gotten a lot of swings, missing a lot of bats.
He's got, he's gotten 2 Wildcats to strike out thus far. And Febless in a 2-2 count. Frankie swings and misses their strikeout number 3 for Smith.
And just maybe a little bit of over-aggression there from Frankie. But a well-pitched AB, regardless, when you put down in that hole like that, it can be tough to recover, especially for a guy that's not seeing ABs day to day.
Senior day is always an interesting mix of emotions. But I can't say that I didn't get a little teared up writing Colton Olison's name in my lineup card for the last time here at the Jack. As he steps into bat, he bounces one toward the third base side, and it's going to be Cruz taking it himself to the bag, 2 away, and we will not get to wax poetic about Colton Olison this time.
I'm sure we'll have plenty of time throughout the rest of the day and well into the tournament just for what he's meant to this team, both on the field, off the field. It'd be really nice to get one for the captain this year if they can pull it off.
So we're back to the top of the lineup with 2 outs. Daniel Figueroa stands in, flied out to right to open the Wildcat offensive outing today in the top of the first. And again, that slider starts like it's coming right at Figgy and then tails into the zone for strike 1. Both pitchers pretty well in command here in the early going. In a scoreless game in the bottom of the third, Figueroa, a little excuse me swing, checks it foul to the first base side. He's behind 0-2.
Top of this Wildcat order, I mentioned it in the break. I would absolutely play a ton of small ball today if you can get guys on base. Scoring first is massive for this team. Don't be surprised if a guy like Figueroa gets on later this game, get bunted over, steals some bags, put in a position to score some runs.
The 0-2 from Smith. Outside corner miss with the fastball, 1-2. And something that has impressed me about the entire staff from Alabama State this week, as here's the 1-2. Figueroa pops it up, shallow left, long run for Landry, and it's actually the shortstop, McIntosh, who makes the over-the-shoulder catch in the face of his left fielder.
Well, ice cream cone catch, barely snagged that one. I'm not even sure he knew where the ball was, but he got it either way.
That'll do it for the Wildcats. 1, 2, 3 in the third. We go to the fourth. Still no score here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark on CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. DH Devin Chandler leads off for the Hornets as we go to the third. a correction to the fourth. He grounds one foul third base side. Chandler singled up the middle his first time up in the first. We are still scoreless. Here in the top of the fourth, breaking ball called strike on the outside corner from Gaviria. Here in the top of the fourth, Wildcats and Hornets knotted at 0. The batter is Devin Chandler, who fouls it straight back. He's behind 0-2 to Gaviria, who has been pretty clean so far, only given up 3 hits. Nobody advanced past second for either team. That pitch misses upstairs 1-2. Complete opposite to what we've seen the first 2 games of this series, which have been slugfest. That one a grounder towards third. Moving to his left is Feblis. He had a little bit of trouble picking it out of the glove, but he eventually gets it over to Soufrain for out number 1.
And part of the reason we've seen this pitcher's duel, or if you want to call it that, so far through these 3 innings is defense on both sides has really been stellar. You haven't given the other team openings to do some damage. That's going to have to continue, especially if the runs aren't coming for either side.
4th putout of the game already for Frankie Feblis, and we have a saying, the ball finds you when you least expect it. First pitch outside to McIntosh, ball 1. Here's someone who hasn't played much all year, gets thrown in at third base because that's where a position is open for senior day, and he's already made 4 plays. Inside corner, strike 1, the fastball to McIntosh, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, I'm sure Jason Hodges will have his turn out there in right field.
McIntosh grounded out to third, his first time up. Breaking ball, chopped towards short. Charging is Cordova, and he makes the play in time for out number 2. Left-hand side of the infield getting a lot of work in these first 4 innings.
Got to stay on top of your game. Daniel Gaviria has been solid, but as we know from both games this weekend, this whole thing can turn on a dime with just how much both of these teams swing, how aggressive they can be, and for Alabama State, how potent that offense has been.
Christian Lopez stands in now. Hit a little dribbler down the third base line his first time up. He watches a fastball in there for strike 1. That was barehanded by Feblis, and he threw it in one motion to get Lopez out by half a step. 0-1. In there, strike 2 outside of the knees.
Gaviria's been living on that outside edge a lot, particularly 2 righties. Not a whole lot they can do with it unless they want to go opposite field.
Gaviria deals, swing and a miss. High fastball inside corner. And Gavi gets another 1-2-3 inning punctuated by a strikeout. He's come to play on senior day. We'll see if the offense can pick him up when we come back. It's the bottom of the 4th here on the CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. Garrett Chun leads off for the Wildcats. We are in the bottom of the 4th. here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. No score, just 4 hits combined. Wildcats only have 1. And the last 9 batters, correction, the last 12 batters combined between both of these teams have all gone down.
This team is second in the SWAC in steals. You got to put some guys on base so you can go to that base running that's been so lethal for your team all year.
First pitch to Chun is a strike outside corner. I've noticed that Damian Gatling has a wide outside corner both ways, righties and lefties, and both pitchers taking advantage of it. Chun grounded out to second his first time up, and he'll watch one outside for ball 1. Wildcats will play Wednesday in the first round of the SWAC tournament up in Atlanta as Smith deals the 1-1. Chop foul right at home plate 1-2. It'll be either at 9 a.m. Eastern or 3 p.m. Eastern, depending on what seed they get.
Coach Hernandez has shied away from that 9 a.m. spot. Hasn't really been thrilled about the prospect of playing that early.
The 1-2 to Chun. And that one gets by the catcher Escobar as it was spiked by Smith. That's the first real bad pitch he's thrown. The count is 2-2. Either way, you can hear every game that the Wildcats play up in Atlanta on 1380 WELE. The Cat. Bryce and I will be up there bringing you all the action, even if it is at 9 in the morning. The 2-2. Way outside 3-2. That'll feel like a throwback to when I was growing up playing baseball as a kid.
Yep, going out to Little League, absolutely. All the parents are out there with the lawn chairs, watching T-ball or up to coach pitch, kid pitch. I remember the same little routine.
Full count delivery to Chun. Wow, that's a one right up the middle. Over the leaping glove of McIntosh. Into center field for a base hit. A big turnaround first for Chun. He'll go back and keep it to just a single.
And it wouldn't surprise me at all if the first person to cross this plate is the guy that's been the most consistent hitter for these Wildcats up and down the year. Maybe not have the best offensive numbers, but has never really seemed to get into that deep slump. That's an outstanding piece of hitting for Garrett Chun. And now watch out those base paths. Let's see how the steals go to work.
Yep, and that is the first leadoff man to be aboard for either team in this game. And we know how the Wildcats love to play small ball and like to chase those runners around the bases. The batter is Jason Hodges. He grounds one up the middle. Wrong-footed was the shortstop McIntosh. He makes the play at first, but that's as good as a sac bunt to move the runner over.
Well, it's a good thing he was going, too, because then you really start to look at the possibility of that double play, which we know has been killer in this series, chopping all momentum out from underneath these teams.
McIntosh, the shortstop, darted towards second to potentially get a pickoff on a steal attempt. But the ball was hit to the traditional shortstop side. They had to scramble back to make that play. And by the time he picked up the ball, Chun, who was going on a hit and run, was already there at second. Now he's on second for Jose Gonzalez. First pitch to him. Ground ball towards third. Fielded nicely by Lopez. He will throw across the diamond. It's dropped by the first baseman, Juan Cruz.
And call comes back to the point that I've made a couple of times in this game. The hard hit ground balls like that, that's a productive at bat. If you're hitting dribblers, if you're hitting pop-ups, if you're striking out, that's not doing a lot. But even in an opportunity like that looks all the part of an out, you hustle it out and you make the defense make a play. In another instance, they have not done that today. And now you've got some action going with just one out.
First and second, one out for Manny Sufrain. Garrett Chun did not advance to third because that ball was hit right at the third baseman. Sufrain watches ball one outside. He struck out his first time up. That is only the third error of the weekend on Alabama State. They've been very clean defensively. And the errors have kind of killed the Wildcats, especially in that close game on Thursday, when they only lost by 2.
And Manny Sufrain's going to have to be on his game here with how much we've seen the pitching staffs on both sides go to that outside edge. Manny Sufrain is primarily pitched away, but he might not get the same calls he's used to.
Smith steps off, checks the runners back to their respective bases. I wouldn't be surprised to see a double hit and run here at some point, just to try and get Chun a head start so he can come home on a ground ball. That's one's outside 2-0, and you can tell that Smith is a little scared to put one in the wheelhouse of Manny Sufrain because he knows the power that Manny has. 2 pitches well in the opposite batter's box to start this AB. Righty to lefty, Smith deals. That one misses outside again, 3-0.
That was maybe one of the closer ones. He's really just pushing the issue of what he can and cannot get a strike call on the outer half of the plate.
Frayne swinging that bright orange and white metal bat, points it towards Smith. Now comes set. Here's the pitch. In there for strike one, 3-1. Frayne doesn't lift the bat off the shoulder.
I'm not sure I would on the next pitch either, unless it's a right down the middle.
Chun on second, Gonzalez on first, 1 out, and a scoreless game here in the bottom of the fourth. Wildcats looking to break through. The 3-1 delivery is hammered out towards right field. Moving back is Landry. He will make the catch, and it was a hit and run, so both base runners can't advance.
And that's another one off the bat that sounded absolutely crushed. Thought for sure it was a ball in the gap. The wind is just killing everything in the air, which is how constant it's blowing out to right field. That one's a little bit of tough luck. I'm not sure Chun could have tagged up and went to third either way with the ball hit out there into fairly shallow left.
But yeah, you're right. That sounded meaty off the bat of Manny Frayne and just kind of held up in the wind. And now with 2 outs, it's the catcher Jorge Rodriguez with 2 on. First pitch righty to righty from Smith is low, ball 1. That's the first time Smith has really missed with that slider. Usually he's been belt high with it consistently. That time just a little low.
He's being a little bit more conservative.
Swing and a miss. Went with the fastball that time, and Rodriguez couldn't catch up to it. Rodriguez on the season just 11 RBI in 96 at-bats with 28 hits. He's been not put in this position very much this season, but this is a big spot. And he swings and misses at a fastball low, and it's 1-2.
It's 2 straight big uppercut swings. You don't need to try to take it all in one swing of the bat, especially with the wind as it is. It's going to be a ground ball type game today, so just try to get one over the infield or through the very large hole out over there towards right field.
Second baseman playing right behind the bag, and it's hit in the air to center field, tailing away from Flores. He dives, and he can't make the play. It's down and behind him. Scoring from second is Chun. Gonzalez goes from first to third. Rodriguez turns and pumps his fist at the third base dugouts. And the Wildcats are on the board. It's 1-0.
Just as the wind took away maybe a couple of balls in the gap so far today, I think it's the wind right there that saves that ball from drifting too far into center field, drops right there into no man's land. And then, like we said, shortens up that swing a little bit, does Rodriguez. And he's able to put that where nobody can get it.
Now runners on the corners for Ramses Cordova. Gonzalez at third, Rodriguez at first, and the inning continues for the Wildcats. There's a slider strike at the knees. 0-1. For the first time in this series, the Wildcats have the lead. The only game the Wildcats have beaten the Hornets this season, as here's the 0-1. Ground ball towards short, fielded by McIntosh. He goes to second to end the inning. So the Wildcats do strike first. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 left. And we go to the 5th. The Wildcats looking to protect their first lead of the series here on the CatEye Network. Wildcats have their first lead of this final series of the season. They lead at 1-0 as we head to the fifth. Daniel Gaviria is still on the mound. That one's chopped to a third. Diving stop by Feblis. He spins. He fires. Sufrain leaps. He makes the catch, and he got his foot down. That is the defensive play of the series right there.
So the bats haven't always worked as well as you'd like them to on this series. The pitching hasn't quite been there, but what a way to come out showing that you want this game than to play the defense like the Wildcats have played today. And it starts with a guy like Frankie Feblis, who's put into play for Senior Day, gives the Wildcats some life out there on the defensive side of the ball. And of course, Manny Sufrain solid all year.
Swig, swing and a miss. Daniel Gaviria went off speed to get the wave from Dylan Escobar. He singled to center his first time up, Dylan. Jenkins is now grounded out to third twice. And a little peek behind the curtains. I use exclamation points in my scorebook to indicate a great defensive play. I gave that one 2 exclamation points. One for Feblis and one for Sufrain. Chop foul right at home plate 0-2.
I think that's very well deserved. One of the things I was thinking about coming into today's game is we entered this season with Manny Sufrain in particular saying, well, what's it going to look like in his first full season given the reins of that first base job? And I think he's more than delivered on that front.
Smash towards second on the ground. Long throw for Cordova. He'll make the play, and a stretch by Sufrain means there's 2 outs. Again, the left side of the infield being taxed for all they're worth, but they have stood strong so far.
It's a little bit of a different look than we've seen all series, but guys just waiting to hear their name called, stepping in and doing what needs to be done to pick up Gaviria on the mound.
Here's Isaiah Lander. He struck out his first time up that end of the second. And he puts one in the air down the left field line. That'll hold up in the wind. Chun is tracking it. He walks in. He makes the catch. And Daniel Gaviria turns and gives a big nod to his dugout as he walks off the field. 9 up, 9 down for Gaviria in the last 3 innings. And the Wildcats look to increase their lead as we go to the bottom of the fifth. It's 1-0 Bethune-Cookman right here on CatEye Network Radio. Well, Frankie Feblis has been spectacular with the glove at the hot corner today. Let's see what he can do with the bat. Wildcats have a 1-0 lead, courtesy of a Garrett Chun run in the 4th inning against the Alabama State pitcher Will Smith. Both pitchers extremely low pitch counts. Smith, just 45 coming into the inning. First pitch, low ball 1.
You can continue to force the issue just by working deep into counts. You got that lead a little bit, so maybe the overall dugout atmosphere is a little less tight than it was an inning ago. You'd love to add some insurance with the way Gaviria is going. You play a little bit looser.
Feblis got hit in the shoulder, and that's a leadoff man aboard for the 2nd straight inning for Bethune-Cookman.
We were talking all the way back in the pregame about Senior Day kind of having its way of putting guys in position to be the hero, to really make that lasting impression on their last time seeing the field at home. And Frankie Feblis is well on his way to being the player of the game for today and doing it maybe a little untraditional. Not going to do it with the long ball, not going to do it with a double into the gap, but he's doing all the little things that have been so critical to the success early in this game.
One on, nobody out. Here's Colton Olison. He grounded out to first his first time up. He squares to bunt. That one came in on the hands, a fastball that's poked foul, 0-1. Colton, one of 6 in this lineup, making his last appearance at the Jack as a member of these Wildcats. Corner's now way in, expecting the Olison bunt. And Olison swings away, hits it off the elbow of the pitcher, and it goes into left field. And Frankie Feblis slid into second and comes up limping.
Man, I thought for sure he was rounding second, going to third. Wonder why he stopped, but pulled up a little lame on, what is it, the right knee maybe? He's walking it off. But they'll probably send the trainer. Yeah, there's Coach Hernandez, an athletic trainer behind him to go check on him.
All right, so with a break in the action, let's paint a picture for you. The third baseman, Lopez, was way in, almost halfway to home plate, expecting bunt. Olison, knowing that, swung away, hit one right up the middle. It went off the arm of the pitcher, Smith, and right to the third baseman's traditional spot, where Lopez wasn't because he was in expecting a bunt, so it rolled into left field.
And I think with that, maybe the biggest thing you can talk about is that when it comes to the base running and the heads up type plays on the pass that the Wildcats have gone to all year, that's not only confined to what you do as a base runner. Colton Olson right there, like you said, protecting his runner with the swing, and he's able to, avoid the double play with Frankie Feblis already running, sees that, adapts in real time, is able to put the ball in play. He's rewarded with what could have been a couple of extra bases for Feblis. Of course, a little unfortunate there, but it does look like he will stay in the game. But it's a heads-up operation on both sides of the ball. You as a batter have to be able to see and prepare yourself for what your runners are going to do on base, and the Wildcats have done that pretty consistently.
So we're going to get some warm-up pitches for Will Smith. The Hornets scrambled Alex Burden up into the bullpen. We saw Burden on Thursday, I guess just in case Smith can't go. His head coach, Coach Vasquez, is out there talking to him. He threw maybe 5 pitches. So Frankie Feblis, who came up limping, rounding second, is going to try and stay in the game. He's doing some practice sprints from second towards third. I think he just gave the thumbs up to Coach Hernandez. He's going to try and stick it out on senior day.
And man, what has it been now? 3 pitchers who've been hit by comebackers on the weekend? I mean, you don't see that a lot, but it's been 3 straight games where somebody's gotten whacked.
And Hay, I think, got lucky because it didn't hit him on the elbow or the wrist. It got him up by the shoulder. And we're back to the top of the order, Daniel Figueroa, who's 0 for 2, flied out to right, and then popped out to center. He squares to bunt, pulls it back, takes a pitch on the small of the back, and the bases are loaded for Bethune-Cookman.
Again, doing what needs to be done to get on base. I think the bluffed bunt might have gotten in the head a little bit of Smith, and so he kind of rushed his delivery a hair with his guys squeezing in the corner infield spots, but the pressure continues to mount for Alabama State. Wildcats in a huge spot right now. You cannot come up empty here.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Guess who's up? It's Garrett Chun, the RBI machine. And that might be the end for Will Smith as here comes Coach Vasquez. Smith may have said, listen, Coach, I'm good, and then he hits the first guy with the first pitch, and Coach says, no.
Yeah, live action and maintaining that control when you're throwing the hard stuff is a lot easier said than done, and a lot harder done when there's a guy in the box on the other end. I'm sure he's going to check on him, see if it's injury related. See, we hope it's not, especially heading into the tournament. We've seen enough of that for our liking for the weekend. Does look like he's going to get a chance to stay in, but I think if we see another one like that, it's going to be a really quick hook.
All right, let's set the scene for you. Feblis got hit by a pitch. Olison singled off the arm of Smith, the pitcher, into left field. Then Figueroa was hit by a pitch. The bases are full of Wildcats. There is nobody out in the top of the 5th. Bethune-Cookman leads 1-0 in a game they need to win to lock in second place going into the tournament that starts Wednesday. The pitcher, Will Smith, the junior from Allen, Texas, takes his hat off, puts it back on, now comes set. Right of the lefty to Chun. Garrett watches the first pitch upstairs, ball 1.
I like the take. Don't want to go first pitch swinging. Again, you don't need to take a bunch of runs in one swing. Just move guys up. Stay conservative.
Would you be surprised to maybe see a suicide squeeze here? We bunt it down the third base line as Chun takes one low and inside ball two.
I think with Garrett Chun at the plate, I think you want to have him swinging, but really nothing would surprise me when it comes to those sort of plays for these Wildcats. They've kind of gone to a little bit of everything this year.
Yeah, maybe if it's the 8th and we're in this position, you try something like that. But right now, I think you just want as many runs as you can get. 2-0, right down the middle for strike one. The first two misses for Smith were not really close, upstairs, and then the second one low. That time he finds the heart of the plate. Quickly into the windup for the 2-1. Low 3-1. Escobar behind the plate tried to frame it. The umpire not buying it. And the Wildcats one ball away from walking in a run.
And I wonder if this is Will Smith's final pitch if he can't find the zone here.
Looks like there are now two Hornets warming up in that first base bullpen. Here's the pitch. He just blazes one down the middle. And the count goes full on Garrett Chun, 3-2. Now, if you're Garrett, you can't look for the walk here. You got to protect the plate if it's close, because we've seen the outside edge be given as strikes all game long. Here's the full count delivery. Chun watches it outside for ball four. Well, I say you can't look for ball four, but that one was well off the plate.
Yep, good take by Garrett Chun, a guy with as mature of a plate approach as he has had all season. Makes it easy for these Wildcats. 39 walks, second on the team for Bethune-Cookman is Garrett Chun, guy that gets on base. Batting average may not look as flashy as some others on this roster, but he's going to collect his RBI all the same. And the Wildcats are still in prime position here to put up a crooked number.
Smith still on the hill as Jason Hodges walks to the plate. Feblis walks in from third. Olison goes to third. Ground ball towards third. It's bobbled by Lopez. Everybody's safe. It's another run. Olison comes in from third. 2 in the inning for Bethune-Cookman. Still nobody out. Still bases loaded. 3-0 Wildcats.
Well, we came into the game last night, Mike, and we heard the Bethune-Cookman dugout very rowdy, very chirpy, it seemed like they were loose. And in reality, last night, it seemed like the team couldn't be tighter. This team came in completely different today, locked in on both sides of the ball. The defense is where you really see that first. And then offensively, again, putting the defense in a spot, you have to make a play. And Alabama State, knowing they need this game, a little bit tight.
Bases loaded for Jose Gonzalez. He swings away, drops it back to the pitcher. They go home for one. On to first, no play there. So they get the lead runner coming home from third. Daniel Figueroa is out at the plate, 1-3. Everybody else moves up 90 feet.
Give Gonzalez credit there for legging that one out. Could have very easily been a double play with a throw over there to first an option, but hustled very hard, particularly those last handful of steps, gave it his all to make sure that there's just one away.
So now Manny Sufrain up. Bases still loaded for the Wildcats. The pace is frantic in this game. I can barely keep up with it. It's almost like basketball. First pitch to Sufrain. He watches one in there for strike one on the inside corner.
And I think that pace works in favor of the Wildcats, who are turning that aggressive approach at the plate back on Alabama State, who's done it to them all weekend, forcing Will Smith to work up-tempo, which maybe hasn't quite been his style.
Sufrain off the end of the bat, foul into the river on the third base side, and it's 0-2. Sufrain struck out of the second and then flied to left in the fourth on a ball that sounded good off the bat, but just died in the wind. Base is still loaded, 1 out in the inning, 2 already across for the Wildcats. The 0-2. Sufrain watches strike 3, and he knows it.
One's certainly tough when you look at just got to put in play, but Sufrain didn't ever really get a pitch that he liked. He'll have to take the strikeout, the rare strikeout.
So now the base is loaded with 2 outs, and I think if you're Alabama State, if you got to have it here with only 2 runs allowed, you're feeling okay about it. They had the bases loaded with nobody out, Bethune-Cookman, and haven't hit one out of the infield since. First pitch to Rodriguez. Check swing, and a strike is called on the inside corner, 0-1. And now Smith is back dialed in after he got shaken up by taking a ball off his shoulder, a comebacker from Colton Olison, second in the inning. And now Derek Cartaya, the pitching coach, is going to call time and talk to his catcher, Jorge Rodriguez. And we talked in the earlier innings about Rodriguez not being a big RBI guy, splitting time behind the plate with Irvin Escobar this season, not being at bats in these big spots very much. This is the moment where he sat behind Irvin Escobar the first 2 games this week. If he wants to be the guy going into the SWAC tournament, maybe a big hit here could push him over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And even being afforded the opportunity to hit when you could very well have pinch hit a guy like Irvin Escobar in this spot. He's been given the trust by his coaching staff. So it's your opportunity to deliver here with a big, opportunity on the line next week.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Wildcats looking to improve their 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the 5th. The pitch is outside and low. Missed with the fastball, did Smith. And I agree with your statement from earlier, Bryce, that I think this is Smith's last inning no matter what happens because there are now 2 Hornets warming up down there. The count is 1-1, righty to righty. Smith kicks his leg and deals. In the air, center field. Moving in is Landry. He's tracking. It's over his head, and it's to the wall. 1 run scores, 2 runs score, 3 runs are going to come in. It's a stand-up RBI triple for Jorge Rodriguez. He blows the doors off the ball game, and it's 6-0.
And that is how you put your name in the conversation for that starting catcher job next weekend. Again, the Wildcats are given a little bit of a break by that wind that's blowing so hard out to right. Randy Flores, the center fielder there, thought he had it tracked, but it just continued to push further from center field into right center. Couldn't track it down. Long run, and nobody could get to that ball. 2 really nice pieces of hitting from Rodriguez.
Now Ramses Cordova in the box takes a slider for strike 1. Cordova, the 9th batter to come to the plate in the inning for Bethune-Cookman. On that triple, Chun scored from 3rd, Hodges from 2nd, and Gonzalez from 1st. 0-1. Fastball strike outside corner 1-2. And we talked about the hustle from Jose Gonzalez, right? He could have easily been doubled off at first, but he legged it out, got there, and then came around all the way from first on a triple.
It's the little things that win big games.
0-2. Cordova strikes out swinging, and that's the end of the inning. But still, 5 runs. 1, 2, just 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 left on for Bethune-Cookman. They lead it 6-0 as we head to the 6th inning of play here at Jackie Robinson on the CatEye Network and 1380 WELE. Back to the top of the order for Alabama State as they try and recover from a 5-run bottom of the 5th by Bethune-Cookman. Daniel Gaviria gets set to throw pitch number 50 on the day for him, and he has had some quick innings, Bryce. 7 pitches in the 3rd, 8 pitches in the 4th, 5 in the 5th, his last 3 innings.
And that's been the Daniel Gaviria recipe for success throughout his time here with the Wildcats. Quick innings, a lot of contact, a lot of free swing that results in a lot of quick outs.
Pitch 50 is upstairs to Flores. Last year, first team all SWAC, Randy. played 59 times for the Hornets last year, including all the way to the semifinals of the SWAC tournament. Gaviria, strike outside corner to the lefty. Hit 336 last year. Flores hitting 352 this year. And he hits one in the air to center field, moving over Figueroa on the run. Makes the catch for out number one. And for those of you listening on the radio, it sounds like, oh, that was a lazy fly ball. It was not. That was a hard hit line drive that Figueroa had to full sprint to chase down.
And again, the 6 runs are going to take a lot of the, shine from today's win. But it's really, for me, the defense that I think starts what you do on the offensive end, picking up your pitcher and keeping you in a position to win the ball game.
Breaking ball, strike outside corner to Ali Lapred. Struck out in the first and then bunted out in the third. He bunted back to the pitcher with nobody on base. And he takes a ball inside. And the dugout doesn't agree with the call for Bethune-Cookman. Rodriguez, the catcher, turned around to talk to the home plate umpire. That time in the air left field, moving over Chun. It's going to hold up in the wind, drop right into his glove. Now that was a lazy fly ball.
Alabama State's going to continue to free swing. It's been their offensive identity all year. You can really take advantage and get Gaviria all the way through this one if they're going to keep doing that. He's pounding the zone, continuing to put that pressure on. You can't lay off pitches because they've all been competitive. That's why you've seen him be able to be so efficient. Now, well on his way through 6.
Big hometown welcome for Cruz as he stands in. He hits this one high and deep down the left field line. If it's fair, that's gone. It is foul, though. Wow.
We've seen a couple of balls hit like that in this series, one of which went the other way, stayed in fair territory. It's tough for us to see at this angle. Fortunate there to avoid what could have given Bama State a little bit of life.
Juan Cruz has a big family and friend contingent here, the Orlando native, as he takes a pitch upstairs 1-1. He barely missed his second home run of the series. He hit one over the pitch clock in left center on Thursday. And he pops one up behind the plate. That will make the seats. And the count is 1-2 on Cruz. Juan today singled to right in the first, then struck out in the third. And Gaviria deals. Breaking ball on the ground. Field wood well back of third by Febles. Long throw to first. Sufrain stretches, and he makes the play. Frankie Febles gets high fives and pats on the back from everybody in maroon and gold in the dugout. He has been outstanding at the hot corner. It's another 1-2-3 for Gaviria on the mound, and the Wildcats will look to increase their 6-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th. Well, we go next here on the CatEye Network and 1380 WELE. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Bethune-Cookman leads this one 6-0. Five runs in the 5th. Wildcats looking to improve on that. Frankie Febles, who led off the last inning with a hit by pitch and came around to score, will be the first to face the new Alabama State pitcher Alex Burden. The lefty pitcher's first delivery is low and inside for ball one. Burden did pitch on Thursday in this series, went 1 inning, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, both earned, struck out 2, walked 1. On the season, he's got a 7.65 ERA, and he hits Feblis again. Frankie Feblis has been a magnet today. The ball finds him, whether he's at third base or at the plate. He's made 6 putouts at third, and now he's been hit by a pitch twice.
And you see him down there smiling over at the bag at first base, guy that plays with a lot of emotion. Maybe don't picture your senior day being one where you don't get a chance to swing the bat because you're just getting beamed all day. But I think Frankie's the kind of guy that, plays in the weeds, a guy that's willing to do whatever it takes, and he'd take a run scored just as he would a homer.
Here's Colton Olison now, another righty. Olison grounded out to first his first time up and singled off of the arm of the pitcher. And a ball that dribbled into left field. He eventually came around to score back in the last inning. First pitch, a breaking ball, strike outside corner, 0-1. First lefty the Wildcats will get a look at. Today, Burden, he deals inside, forcing Olison to jump back. That almost hit Colton as well.
The final line for the starter Smith today, 5 full innings of work, just threw 67 pitches, but he allowed 6 runs, only 1 of them earned. 5 hits, a walk, struck out 5.
The 1-1 from Burden to Olison is skipped to the plate, ball 2. And on first base, Feblis went about halfway to second, stood there, and then went back to first. We see the softball team do that a lot.
But it's kind of also what we see a lot from this Wildcats team when they're trying to do that steal of home, the old double steal first and third. But that time, nobody on third, so he'll just hustle right back over to the bag.
2 balls, a strike. Here's the pitch. Olison in the air, and it's going to be down in center field for a base hit. Feblis on his horse, motors around second, but he will stay there as a nice throw from Flores in center field keeps him to just 1 base. But Olison now 2 straight singles on the day for the senior.
And as it looks like we may make another bullpen change. Quick hook from Jose Vasquez was already sent down over there. It's so refreshing to see the Wildcats completely flip the script on this Alabama State team, doing to them what's been done to the Wildcats all weekend long, swinging, putting everything in play, not a lot of strikeouts, and like we talked about in the beginning, avoiding the 1-2-3 inning.
Wow. Alex Burden goes 2 pitchers, gives up a hit by pitch and a single, and is immediately replaced. Now, I don't think I've seen that much this year.
It's going to be another guy that we've already seen in this series. Austin King is going to be out there, but you're right. It's I guess, kind of playing with that tournament mentality today because Alabama State, just as the Wildcats do, want to avoid seeing Florida A&M for as long as possible in this tournament, just to make that path as easy as you can get to the title game. And so just trying to keep his team as in it as you can get. I do like the aggressive call to the pen down there, just not wasting any time. Can't afford to get down any further than you are with not a whole lot of time left to take it back.
Of course, we at Bethune-Cookman know Jose Vasquez very well. Former assistant here under Mervo Melendez. Someone who maybe one day harbored hopes of being the head man here at Bethune-Cookman, but he has led this Alabama State team to be dominant in the Southwestern Athletic Conference over the past half decade or so, only ending their run last year when they were beat by FAMU.
Yeah, they've been the class of this conference for a reason. It was the new blood and Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M who's finally given him kind of a challenge, especially in this SWAC East. Kind of forced him to up his game a little bit, knowing that he's got two good young coaches well on his heels, trying to do the same thing. Absolutely credit to him for the program that he's built. I think between Vasquez, Coach Hernandez, and then Coach Shoup over at Florida A&M are a good example of kind of the more modern offensive minded coaching staffs that you see at the college level, particularly at the SWAC, which I think overall is a very old school conference. Prioritize pitching, prioritize defense, but very smart offensive minded coaches.
Daniel Figueroa will be the first batter to face Austin King. His ERA is 5.31, making his 14th appearance of the season. Correction, his ERA is 5.06. Went 1 inning, just gave up 1 hit, no runs against the Wildcats back on Thursday. Figueroa squares to bunt. He pulls it back. The ball is in the dirt. Nice job by Escobar to keep that one in front of him with his left leg and missed his glove completely.
Another thing the Wildcats can learn from this offensive outing today is how important a leadoff runner can be. Disrupts the whole flow of the game from the opposing pitching staff.
Time is going to be called.
The ball sails in from the bullpen out there over on Bama State's side.
And if you see that as a pitcher, you've just come in from the bullpen and immediately somebody stands up behind you. How much confidence does that give you? Probably not much.
And even a little thing, just seeing that ball sail in when you're set and ready to throw, it just throws off your timing a little bit.
Figgy squares to bunt again. Here's the pitch. He does put it down. Third base side. Charging is Lopez. He'll make the transfer and throw out Figueroa, but it's Daniel does the job, moves the runners from first to second and third, and there's one out.
You see the respect there for the speed of Figueroa by the corner infield squeezing in like that. Just further reiterates that was a sacrifice all the way. Still trying to just move runners up, and I like it. We saw again another thing we've seen Alabama State do. You're up big, but still trying to just get as many runs through as possible. Now you're afforded the luxury of being able to give up a few more outs to make that happen.
Here's Garrett Chun now, second and third, one out in the sixth. Wildcats a 6-0 lead. Chun over to first, into the glove. They throw home. The throw is high. It gets away from the catcher Escobar, and sliding in safely is Frankie Feblis. It's 7-0 Bethune-Cookman.
I feel like these Wildcats have given me the chance to say it just about every time they've been up to the plate. But again, putting the ball in play, hard contact. That's not your traditional routine ground ball that leads to the easy throw home. The only reason there was a chance at home is because of how hard that ball was hit. So then it puts in the mind of the first baseman Cruz over there, what decision do I have to make here? Should I go to first? Should I go home? Goes home, catcher's not ready, run for the Wildcats.
Now Hodges up. I haven't even had time to go through the usual song and dance of we did this in previous at-bats, because they're everybody's first pitch swinging. It's a bunt. It's put down third base side. Coming home from third is Olison. He's in there safely. And safe at first is Jason Hodges. He legs it out.
So fun to see another senior getting the chance to do something on his senior day. Hasn't seen a ton of action out there in right field, but there he does his job, given that bunt sign by hitting coach Derek Hartaya. Lays down a beauty. Again, putting the Hornet defense in a tough spot. Has to make the play. Legs it out with a hustle. Everybody is contributing in this lineup today. This is a different ball club than we saw the last two nights.
Let's just reset here. Chun is on second after a fielder's choice, his second RBI of the game. Hodges on first after a bunt single. Feblis and Olison, who led off with a hit by pitch and single respectively, have both scored in the inning. The Wildcats have plated two. They lead this one 8-0. Where was this team the last 2 days?
Hey, listen, it's nice to have fun in the booth for a day because the last two games have been pretty miserable.
And here comes Coach Vasquez again, and this may be the end for King.
You know, at this point, Mike, I think we may be starting to see something similar to what we've talked about. We may see for the Wildcats. Let's get everybody an inning. Let's get some guys some work because you're going to have to pitch come the tournament next week. We'll see if this is somebody we've seen already. But I think the game, never out of reach for a team like this, but at a certain point, you got to shift your focus to what's more important, and that's when the games really start to count again next week.
Is this Jafet Martinez who threw yesterday? It is. Oh, no, it's not. My apologies.
I think it's 20 even. 20 Juan Barrios.
I thought it was 21 as he was walking out. The font on the Alabama State jersey, especially on the front, is very angular, very italicized. It's kind of hard to read from up here in the booth. I was going to say, I know he cruised yesterday, but he threw 80 pitches. I'm not sure we're going to see Martinez again today.
It definitely would have been a really aggressive move. But again, now I think you're starting to see maybe the shift into thinking of a little bit more about next week. If your offense gives you some life late in this game and you want to shift back to some of your better arms, maybe we could see a guy like Johan Lavoie again after 2 days off. But overall, I think just starting to look ahead a little bit.
All right, let's give you a full inning rundown as Juan Barrios gets ready on the hill. Barrios, the freshman from Puerto Rico. Feblis led off. He was hit by a pitch. Then Olison singled up the middle, so first and second. Then Figueroa moved them both to second and third with a sacrifice bunt. Then Chun hit one hard to the first base side. Cruz, the first baseman, picked it up. Instead of just stepping on the first base bag, he tried to get Feblis, who was streaking home. His throw was high over the glove of Escobar, so Feblis scored. Next batter, Jason Hodges puts down a bunt third base side. Lopez, the third baseman, came in and charged it, but Hodges legged it out, beat it out to first base, and on the same play, Colton Olison came in to score. So now we have Chun on second, Hodges on first, 1 out in the inning, and Jose Gonzalez set to step in to face Barrios.
And what a difference a day makes, because I think everybody up here in our staff came in today really expecting the worst, preparing for the worst, if nothing less. And these Wildcats have turned it around to a point that, of course, you are in prime position now to take that number 2 seed, which lets you get that seeding that you want heading into the tournament. But maybe more than anything, now you don't go out of the regular season on that skid. You come in knowing what this offense is capable of. Even with a couple of guys, regular starters, sitting the bench, everybody has contributed. The defense has been exactly what we know it can be up and down this lineup. Now you roll into Atlanta next week with your heads held high, knowing what kind of team and what kind of performance that you're capable of putting up.
Juan Barrios is a lefty freshman from Puerto Rico. He's got a ERA of 10.38 and is making his 10th appearance of the season. First pitch to Jose Gonzalez is a strike. Gonzalez singled in the second, reached on an error in the fourth, fielder's choice, and scored in the fifth. And he watches one in the dirt. And the runners go, and the throw sails into right field. Garrett Chun's going to come home. He will score. Rounding third and following him is Hodges. He's also going to score. It's a 2-run error. The freshman catcher Escobar rifled one all the way down the third base line. And everybody comes in. It is 10-0 Bethune-Cookman.
And now you're looking at the opportunity to run rule come an inning from now. Wildcats pushing all the right buttons. A lot you can learn from this game heading into the SWAC tournament next week about what it's like to face the lower half of a bullpen and just offensively stay locked in and do all the little things well to keep everybody moving.
Pitch outside, and correction, that's ball 4. I forgot that Gonzalez was switched pitchers in the middle of the at-bat from King. So he walks, and the inning stays alive.
Just no quit in these Wildcats. It's such a fantastic team atmosphere right now. Everybody is doing their part at the plate, in the field, on the mound.
And now it's Manny Soufrain, who, if anybody needs something good to happen right now, it's Manny. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. There's still only 1 gone in this 6th inning for the Wildcats, 4 already in. Ten 0 is our score. Juan Barrios is the pitcher, and Juan is thinking like, listen, I came into the game, I blow a pitch by a batter, and the catcher throws it into left field and allows 2 runs to score. The runs aren't going to go against Barrios.
That goes the same for the starter, Will Smith. It's just 1 earned run for him. Burden is credited with a couple of earned runs, leaving the runners on.
Well, I don't know what's happening here. Coach Hernandez for the Wildcats has walked all the way onto the field. He is talking to the first base umpire.
Well, it looked like he potentially gave a warning to Hunter Allen over there at first. I'm not sure for what, but you saw Manny Soufrain kept stepping out of the box. Looked like he was hearing something from his first base coach. And then the official pointed over at Coach Allen in that first base coach's box. So it looks like maybe he got thrown out.
Wow. I gotta say, when we had Coach Hernandez thrown out last night, we could pretty much hear every word he said up here in the booth. That was a loud ejection. But now, for the 2nd straight day, we've had a coach toss.
And look at the applause and the smiles when he heads to the dugout. Hopefully we'll hear a little bit more about what exactly went on there from Coach after this one.
But now it's Derek Cartaya, the hitting coach, who's taking it over at first.
Yeah, maybe he just got hot. I mean, I don't know. It's toasty out there today.
Runner on, first, 1 out. Here's the first pitch to Manny Soufrain. He fouls it back. So this has been an interesting series for Derek Cartaya. Had to take over at third last night. Now he's over at first tonight.
Other duties is assigned. They put that in the job description somewhere.
0-1 to Soufrain. Is low in the dirt, 1-1. Gonzalez leads off of first after a walk. 4 runs have already come in the inning. And none of them have been on hits that left the infield. It's all been small ball and defensive miscues that have allowed the Wildcats to pour it on here in the 6th. 1-1 to Manny from Barrios. Long look in. Now he deals. It's low, ball 2.
You know, the Wildcats have scored some runs this game on just traditional hitting the ball where the defenders aren't. They've done it on small ball.
Coach Allen is still down there talking to Coach Hernandez, who's abandoned his post at third base temporarily. Can afford to be a little lax with a 10-0 lead. Soufrain will watch a strike outside corner 2-2.
I'll say this. This is the most getaway day game I've ever seen with this many stakes on the line. Like, we came in today with just about everything to play for both teams, and it's felt like a Sunday where everybody just kind of wants to get out of here.
Pitch from Barrios. Soufrain waves at it and goes down. That is his 3rd strikeout of the day for Manny Soufrain. Not a great day to end his season. Thankfully, everybody else is pretty much having a good day. Here is Jorge Rodriguez now with 2 down. I don't think anybody's had a better day at the plate than Rodriguez. Singled in the 4th and then hit a long triple off the wall that scored 3 runs in the 5th. That one really broke the game open. It took it from a 3-0 game to a 6-0 game.
Going to be a tough call at that catcher spot heading into next week.
Still got a runner on first with 2 down. Gonzalez still over there. First pitch, low, ball 1. And to your point about a getaway day, I remember the last game of the season last year against Jackson State, where the Wildcats hit a walk-off home run the night before to clinch their seed, so nothing was on the line. And it kind of felt like this, where you have nothing really to play for. We just got to play that one last game. Fastball upstairs, 2-0 the count to Rodriguez.
You know, you'd love to get inside of the head of the lineup, of Coach Hernandez. You know, you think maybe last night and the night before we're kind of playing with your food a little bit, and today you just kind of woke up remembering that you're the better team, that you've earned this year.
2-0. In the air, down the left field line, not that deep. Landry will fade over. He'll make the catch. But the Wildcats continue to pour it on. 4 runs, 2 hits, and 1 left. And we go to the 7th inning of play. It's 10-0 Bethune-Cookman here at the Jack on CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. We go to the 7th. The Wildcats lead 10-0 here on senior day, and it's grounded to third. The senior, Frankie Feblis, makes the scoop and makes the play, and there's one out. If the Wildcats can hold the Hornets without a run here, it would be game over via the 7-inning, 10-run rule they have in the SWAC.
What a shift. Just from 2 games where nothing seemed to fall your way to a game where nothing has gone wrong.
And a first pitch outside to Kyler McIntosh. I think at this point, the Hornets are just going to swing away. Anything in the zone, they're going to try and put it in play, see if they can scratch one across, keep this one going. Inside corner, strike one from Gabby. This would be Daniel Figueroa's second complete game of the season. The first one, you were right, was at Mississippi Valley. Ground ball to the left-hand side. It's Feblis again. He makes another play, and the Wildcats are 1 out away from a victory.
The dugout can feel it. What a way to close the season out on senior day. Everything on the line, everything you've worked for all season. Avoiding stumbling like we could have seen, but just taking care of business.
Christian Lopez is potentially the final batter of the game. He swings and misses for strike one. Lopez grounded out to third. I mean, who hasn't grounded out to third in this game? And then struck out on the fourth, 0 for 2. The Hornets have not had a base runner since the second inning. Ground ball towards third. It's Feblis. He throws across, and this one belongs to the maroon and gold. How about it? On senior day, the final inning, 5-3, 5-3, 5-3. Frankie Feblis makes 9 putouts in the game, and the Wildcats win it in run rule fashion, 10-0. It's a complete game shutout for Daniel Gaviria. He only gives up 3 base runners in the whole game, and 2 of them were in the first inning. This is a completely different team that we saw today than we saw maybe even the last couple of weeks.
And again, the runs are flashy. The run rule is flashy, but it's the little things that set up the Wildcats for the opportunity to do this. You roll into the first 3 innings, no runs, no runs, no runs. It's all quiet, knotted at 0-0. Things continue to get tighter the later you get into the game because, well, you never know what can happen. All it takes is one big swing from Alabama State, one big swing from the wrong person, and you're down just like you've been all series long. But the defense and the way that Daniel Gaviria came out of this game looked a little shaky in the first, but settled right in to do what I've called a couple of times between breaks a vintage Daniel Gaviria performance, as good as we've ever seen him here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Putting the offense in that position, hey, I got you guys. Do what you do and do your thing. And he held down the fort, gave the Wildcat bats a chance to do it with small ball, a chance to do it with the big swing, a chance to do it with walks, hit by pitches, whatever you want to call it, a complete effort up and down the field. And it really does start with a guy like you mentioned, Frankie Feblis, doing his job, doing more than his job on the defensive end and giving that momentum to the guys at the plate who took care of business today.
Your final line score, Bethune-Cookman, 10 runs on 7 hits. No errors and 5 left on base. I think the only other time I've seen them win a game where they have more runs than hits was at Valley, like all the way back at the beginning of the season, the second conference weekend.
They can win, they can beat you in a lot of different ways, and they did that today.
What do you talk about a lot, Bryce? You talk about punishing mistakes. The Wildcats scored 9 of their 10 runs on balls that didn't leave the infield. And they just got there with clever base running, with putting balls in play, forcing mistakes from the defenders.
And it's one thing to punish mistakes on the other end. And at the other side, it's one thing to not make the mistakes that give you the opportunity to be punished by the other team. The Wildcats did both today. And a team that's going to win a SWAC championship is going to have to do both.
The winning pitcher is Daniel Gaviria. He gets his second complete game shutout of the year. His record goes to 6-3, an excellent senior season for Gabby. If not, maybe for the brilliance of Tanner Bocabello, he's in that conversation for SWAC Pitcher of the Year.
Yeah, it would finishes up right where we would expect him to. He came in today saying, hey, listen, a lot's gone wrong this weekend, but we've got the preseason Pitcher of the Year on the mound. And he wasn't just named that for no reason. He was voted on by coaches, by staff across this league that have seen what he's been able to do. he puts you in a position to win a ball game today.
Losing pitcher is Will Smith, of course, making his first start of the year, maybe a spot start situation for him, but he was good through the first 4 innings, and then the Wildcats finally got to him, and the defense behind him didn't do him any favors.
You have a lot of unearned runs for him, a lot of, kind of shaking your head type plays. And the pressure mounted the deeper you got into the game. You saw Alabama State give into that pressure a little bit because it was very real for them, just as it was for the Wildcats. And if you're a team that can handle pressure better than the team behind you, you're going to win a lot of tournament games.
The Wildcats finish the regular season 29-25, 1 win shy of Coach Hernandez's ultimate goal of a 30-win season, and 19-10 in the SWAC. Alabama State finishes 28-25, 18-12 in the SWAC. So the final SWAC East standings look like this. Florida A&M in first. They'll be the number 1 overall seed going into the tournament. Bethune-Cookman finishes in second. Alabama State third. Jackson State fourth. Alabama A&M fifth. Mississippi Valley State sixth. There are still games to play over on the western side, so we don't know who we're playing yet. We'll be playing the third seed out of the East. It will be either Prairie View A&M or Southern, because the top 2 seeds, Texas Southern and Grambling State, they're fighting for 1 and 2, but they cannot drop below 2, either of them. So I think you'd want to play Prairie View in that situation because Southern is such a grindy team. They almost eliminated the Wildcats last year. They steal a ton of bases. They just get on base and keep the train moving, a lot like this Alabama State team does.
Not to mention Southern plays with a good bit of swagger. I think they always have. It's kind of just something that university and athletic department has always kind of had in their back pocket. They have a little bit of a personality to them, I think, that can get in the heads, especially when it comes to the fans and fan support for the Jaguars. But if you asked Coach Hernandez point blank who he wants to play, I don't know that there would really be one that sticks out. I think he's just going to tell his team. I think we know he's going to tell his team, you just play who's ever in front of you. And I think it's important to remember too that not only by dropping to that 2 seed and not the 3, not only do you avoid Florida A&M, but you also stay away from Alabama State, who will be in that bracket with Florida A&M. So now you're on Jackson State's side, and you have a nice little runway to get to a SWAC championship game for the second year in a row.
And for the Hornets, right, this was worst case scenario. You win last night, you win the night before in dominating fashion. You think we have the inside track to get to that second seed, to avoid Florida A&M, who's been their boogeyman this year. We've kind of been FAMU's boogeyman this year. We beat them 4 times. Alabama State's only beat Florida A&M once this year in 6 games. So it's going to be a tough matchup on that side of the bracket. Very interesting to see how it'll shape out. I think we get the 9 a.m. game, unfortunately, on Wednesday morning. So get up early Wednesday. Tune your radios to 1380 WELE. We will be on the air at about, say, 8:50 Eastern Time in Atlanta. That'll do it for another fantastic season of Bethune-Cookman sports here in Daytona Beach. Bryce, it's been such a great year again, from football rebounding and having a better season, volleyball going to the tournament again, both basketball teams starting strong, men's basketball finishing the year strong, their best ever SWAC finish, golf, individual conference champions all up and down, and then, of course, softball going deep in the SWAC tournament, and then baseball headed to the playoffs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun, exciting year. Still continuing to build on a lot of, the changes that come into place with a conference switch, with, taking some time off for the pandemic. It's been a climb, but there's progress to be seen. And it's a blast to see the progression from each and every team in a very, fluid NCAA that's changing year by year, to watch coaches adapt, to watch these programs put it all together and continue to build towards that championship culture that we harp on so much at this university that's trying to be built. And Coach Hernandez would love nothing more than to cap off a season with a SWAC title.
And I thank you so much to you, the listeners and viewers on the CatEye Network, who stick with us all season long. Doesn't matter the sport. You love Bethune-Cookman athletics, and you just want to tune in and support us all season long. Thank you so very much. There's more to come as we head to the SWAC tournament in Atlanta. We'll start on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. For Bryce Wojnowski and our entire media staff here at Bethune-Cookman University, my name is Michael Trillo. Thank you so much for listening this afternoon and all season long. We will see you Wednesday for postseason baseball.